We need to talk because I think I found some really weird connections that are relevant to the end times, the blues, Catholicism, and the Nephilim returning. I don't even know what to call this video. I'm just going to start showing you things, and some of them might blow your mind, or at least they blew my mind. This is your trigger warning. If you are easily offended, this video is definitely not the video for you. This page is about seeking truth regardless of feeling. So I don't want to hear it in the comments. I warned. So I've talked about in the past that I grew up Catholic. It turned me atheist. I felt like it was dark, laced with witchcraft, decided there was no God, and my heart hardened over time. Well, since then, I've been trying to figure out what it is about Catholicism that is so dark, outside of the obvious, like the fact that it's called Roman Catholicism. So I've addressed a lot of the basic things in past videos. So I got this book on Marian apparition sightings and like a history of Mary, and almost all of the statues and images have 6 fingers or 6 toes on at least one limb, which is characteristic of the Nephilim. And I believe that the saints are actually the Nephilim. So I was just in Greece and I went to the Athens Archaeological Museum, and it's basically a museum of like the gods. Like you can clearly tell that this was a time when the Nephilim were on the earth. All of the female statues look exactly like Mary. And coincidentally, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just like in my Marian apparition book. I went to an ancient Catholic church. There's a giant Mary with angels serving her. I mean, this isn't just a difference in height. These are Nephilim, for sure. And I don't see how the imagery could be so consistent across multiple different things if there weren't people that saw this. Here's another one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And naturally, the Mycenaean jewelry has Freemason symbols on it. Another one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then there was multiple things that were like this. Remember we were talking about how like the powdered wig thing and the Nephilim looked like clowns? This guy has hooves. And then here's half man, half goat. See the half man, half goat with these people who are like double the size of these people. That's because these are Nephilim. And what do you know? The mythological manticore. I did a video on this. I don't even know what these are. Maybe they're sirens, but I'm showing you because I want to show you the hat or whatever it is that's on their heads. Does it look familiar to anybody?
Источник зла – это Бог, не сатана. В иудаизме сатана – это и есть Бог.
There were also sculptures of reptilians walking around. So there's quite a few parallels between the small hats and the Nephilim, and things that make it, in my opinion, plainly obvious that they worship the Nephilim. But here's something even weirder. So Martin Luther wrote a book in the early 1500s called On the Blues and Their Lies. He says that they were arrogant, raving, mad, and using stupid folly, boasting that they were created as males and not as females. They did not learn such tomfoolery from Israel, but from the Goyim. For history records that the Greek Plato daily accorded God such praise and thanksgiving, if such arrogance and blasphemy may be termed praise of God. We have talked about this before. Actual Gentiles were the Greeks, the Nephilim. And remember, Satan and the synagogue of Satan are naturally going to turn all truth upside down. And I showed a clip a while back from Donald's Math Magic Land. It's like a Donald Duck cartoon from, I think, the 50s. And they were talking about how Plato was the first egghead and how he invented like music and mathematics and the globe. And there's very clear, subtle messaging that they were saying that he was like a Nephilim. So let's bring them into it. Notice the hat. Same exact hat as the blues, okay? So I saw this book at the bookstore today, and I got it because it has the Wicker Man, and I thought, maybe that's like the Trojan horse. And you guys know how I am. If I see a story that's like almost the exact same or very, very similar across different cultures, we're looking at it. Because I'm at the point where it's like, everything that they say is a myth or a legend is the truth, and everything that they say is true is a myth. So basically the story goes that the Druids were doing like ancient magic, and they would sacrifice people that disagreed with them by putting them into a giant wicker man and lighting it on fire. That is where the idea of the Burning Man festival seems to come from. But look at this. That is a Pope hat. And then look at this. Same type of creature that I showed you that was in the Mycenaean Museum. We apparently know like nothing about the Druids because we have almost no record. This book is only like 20 pages long. I haven't read it yet, but I just couldn't get over this. And then I started to realize, does anyone remember that the Pope opened that magical door like around Christmas time of this past year? And look at how this year has been. They're definitely partaking in Druid magic, and I personally believe that the Pharisees are the synagogue of Satan, the current day, and that the Sadducees rebranded as the Catholic Church because the Sadducees dissipated about 70 years before the Catholic Church popped up and became a thing, which was like 100 or so years after the crucifixion. So in a nutshell, it very much tracks that the Blues and the Catholics are still together. And Martin Luther seems to have the exact same thing in his head. He puts the papacy right beside the Blues and Islam. So those of you that know about like the Chrislam thing that they're trying to do as like the one world religion, if you know, you know. I truly believe that they are working together and have been for centuries to try to normalize Nephilim worship so that people aren't surprised. Because has anybody ever taken notice of the fact that the Catholic Church was the group that started the globe theory and like evolution because they're ran by Jesuits? And what do we need the globe theory for? To accept the idea of an alien invasion, aka giants in the sky, the Nephilim coming back. Jesus said it would be like the days of Noah. So remember how I showed you that in the museum there was the Mycenaean stuff, so like the Nephilim Babylonian stuff, but also there was multiple different things of Freemason stuff. I just showed you the one picture. There was Freemasonry symbols on everything. Well, Freemasons love the number 33. Numbers 1333. There we saw the Nephilim, and we seemed to ourselves like grasshoppers, and so we seemed to them. And apparently the Pentagon believes that the Anunnaki are coming back soon. Anunnaki? I know so many of you guys probably have such interesting stuff to add to this, so if you do, please comment it.